This episode of the Fortean Freakout podcast deals with one of the most enduring legends of British supernaturalism, the Vampire of Croglin Grange. The basic story tells of a beautiful young girl woken from sleep by the sound of scratching at the window. Horrified, she watches as some kind of monstrous entity patiently picks away the lead holding the panes of the glass. It then enters her bedroom and sucks her blood. 9 months later, the creature returns. This time one of the girl's brothers shoots and wounds the vampire in the leg. A search of a vault in the local churchyard reveals a corpse-like figure with a bullet wound. The villagers burn the creature to ashes, and the legend then continues to circulate around the small and remote fell-side village of Croglin in Cumbria. The story is told as true, that is, it is supposed to have really happened. Given this extraordinary claim, what can we discover about this most British of vampires? I'll be frank, historical evidence isn't up to much. The one and only time the story appears in print is in The Story of My Life, the gossipy autobiography published in 1900 by Augustus Hare. Hare was a man of high society and an accomplished teller of tall tales. He picked up the Croglin vampire story in 1874 from a fellow dinner guest, Captain Edward Fisher Rowe. The captain, in his turn, was relating a piece of family folklore that had been circulating for generations. So the only written version of this tale is third-hand at the very best, and had probably been endlessly changed and improved for dramatic reasons over the years. No one can resist the vampire story. In the 20th century, the story was retold in print many times, with entirely invented details being added at every turn. If you read a modern account of the Croglin vampire in a book or website on the paranormal, almost certainly it will be a corrupted version filled with these fictional details. By the 1960s, the story was familiar to many local people in what was then still a remote settlement. Although there is no such building as Croglin Grange, a window in a local farmhouse was pointed out as the very one where the vampire gained entry. A consensus amongst researchers gradually emerged that the tale dated to sometime in the 1680s or perhaps the 1690s. During this period, the property belonged to a family by the name of Towery, and perhaps it is their folklore that has been transmitted down the centuries. As to the exact nature of the origin event that eventually became transmuted over 200 years into the vampire story, that sadly remains a mystery. The records are silent. My own suggestion is that it was rooted in the bitter religious disputes of the 17th century. Clergyman George Sanderson was an ardent supporter of the Puritan regime of Oliver Cromwell. When the Puritans lost power and Charles II came to the throne, Sanderson swiftly changed his spots and became a keen member of the Church of England. In this guise, he became the Vicar of Croglin, replacing a Puritan minister who had refused to betray his principles. Could this have led to some kind of rumour mill against the new rector, a campaign that somehow became twisted into the vampire tale? As with everything else concerning the Croglin vampire, this is pure speculation. The entire tale is an enduring mystery, and a mystery, so far, with no solution. A fully referenced investigation into Croglin vampire appears in my book Paranormal Cumbria. Details of this and all my other books can be found on my website, www.geoffholder.com. Until the next time then, allez avec les dieux.